So, the different outcome this time round. What we should learn about this stamp on the postage. In the domestic situation can be said that what you think to learn of the stamps. Why do you think to have a stamp of college days? Wildlife conversation, Friday fights at something kind. You know yourself that there's a conversation price and say, so every stamp positive to be having some kind of wallet. Did you ever think that you can sell it off the them? Or why would you could have at them? Alright, here it looks like we have a Romanian or a Vatican, Rwanda, those papas. Why they took care of the nature, wildlife turn. This is the first where the blood of the money have been dedicated here, you know. There is plenty of things, inspiration of them. What is it here? San Marino stand postes Republika di San Marino, or church Czechoslovakia. And the temple that of Pastor showed willing to shade the cave size, the spirit, and increase integration. Democratia Hellenica. And Greece seems to be one country with post stamp office operated medals, because it isn't really up to date. Look at this, there is a more oldest I earned of the stamp of the Greece. Interesting, isn't it? As an Aeolus itself to put it. Helleniki version. And then there is a typical of the Pride Battalion of the Spanish shooter. That's the hand width. So very well. Show it to hold it, the situation. And the voice, it is kind of the toucans. Absolutely toucan. You can't even get from when you watch it the first time. And then there is a pleasure thing. And look at this at all. This is already just a normal, common, cheap stamp. They actually absolutely love their own countries and their chase. And it looks like the Cubas are on the way to be first to be done. Shopping in Malabar, in Jamaica. Jamaicans are always somehow the stamps managed to pull, which are more or less different kind. The anniversary of Ministry Cuba. So what you do right. In the final years I have learned and find out Vietnamese. To just name in all the stamp from these countries here. South Africa, the stamp of this. Some of the very kind Universal Postal Union 1949 to Spain, Pakistan, Transkei. This is from Tanzania. Yes sir, Transkei. Where it is a Transkei? Transkei area of the South Africa is to be placed, but it's definitely pronunciation in English. Either Empire Central Africa. So this is Central Africa, the price. And another country, a Portuguese, New Zealand, Nicaragua. Is another Nicaragua to stamps around here. A few of them, Republica Dominicana. Here it is the Republic of Malawi, area, Dominica itself, Helvetia. Plenty different country, Vietnam, areas, Alien states, they love it to show the space exploration. And this looks like it's somewhere so far to the moon, Pakistan. Pakistan really have not plenty for. But what about the China? Champere, Walls good. So they have then on that there is a Bangladesh. So it seems that in here the small space there is plenty different countries well represented. Bangladeshi. Somehow the Bangladesh is very under in average when it comes. And what is it here? Iranian case. And the typical Iranian, the stamp here, Australia is a little bit different, change kind of the one of the usual supposed to be Iranian means, the chase. And this kind of this Iranian stamps just simply have their own characteristic, but wait, and there it is a Republic wars with Africa. So Republic of South Africa had to be two different languages even, making stamps, which is a little bit unusual. Even the countries which have a multi different languages, there is usually only the most prominent post office country which are mentioned. And there's a different kind of the buildings of the winter kinds, and there's the hotels. So what are all this? There is Republic of Tanzania, reptiles of Tanzania. And here is Al Hassan, one of the very different kind of the person. Tanzania and South Africa, RSA, are very well diversified. Nigeria might be one of those countries with a very less abundance of cattle ranching. You will be learning that this really are care to get into there. And Brasilia itself, I have not missed it, tries survival oral rehydration therapy. And it's important in this kind of the developed countries to themselves put plenty of effort to just every those stems are for good use, and they have been successfully managed to pull off those. So therefore all those countries are trying to reserve the human life of their native happiness and so on. And it's simply what this kind of the test called the marks of the stems are getting definitely case. I still not have saw it plenty of the same Eastern Bloc countries, almost in all of those. And as in another ways, it's hard to be far out nothing what it actually here isn't from an Eastern Bloc. And the last page, there is an Australia have been printed, and it's Japanese. What is a Japanese? Small, very type of the price. It looks like Japan haven't been left the stamps of the similar level like at in India. The very small size, the paper annotation, making sure this was look like a similar wealthiness around India. They have the smallest stamps of the possible, and therefore the last using the paper of the stamps. And in India itself, it hasn't really been one of the countries with having the stamp. They have still their own style.